Guys, it's me, Miss Norris, and today I'd like to share a fun read aloud with you of the story The Knight and the Dragon. The story The Knight and the Dragon was written by Tomie DePaola in 1980, and it tells the story of a dragon and a brave knight. If you're ready to hear the story, I'm ready to share it with you. Here we go. The Knight and the Dragon. I'll give you a closer look. The dragon seems pretty happy, and the knight seems pretty happy as well. Once upon a time, there was a knight in a castle who had never fought a dragon. And in a cave not too far away was a dragon who had never fought a knight. So we have the knight who's never fought a dragon and the dragon who's never fought a knight. And they don't live far from one another. One day, the knight went to the castle library and took out all of the books he can find on dragon fighting. Meanwhile, back at the cave, the dragon had rummaged through all the things from his ancestors and found some books on knight fighting. I'll give you a close-up. Here is the knight, and he's in the library, and he has a book called How to Fight Dragons. Meanwhile, in the cave, the dragon has found books from his ancestors, and he's reading a book called How to Fight Knights. So they're both looking into how to fight each other, but they've never done it before. The knight began to build some armor. He has a book called Armor Building, and you're going to have to see the pictures. So he's looking at what to do. He's pouring metal. He's crimping and hammering. You can see down below he has some bendable parts, maybe a foot. And he's putting together a suit of armor. And he seems pretty happy with himself. The dragon practiced swishing his tail. So the dragon has a book called The Art of Tail Swishing. And he's reading up some directions. He's looking at pictures probably, some diagrams, and is very pleased with his tail swishing abilities. So they're both off to a pretty good start. Meanwhile, back at the castle, we have the knight sharpening a sword and shining the lance and filing the mace, getting the crossbows ready, painting his shield, getting all of his weapons in order to fight a dragon. He seems, I'm pretty ready. Meanwhile, back at the cave, the dragon practiced ferocious faces in the mirror, showing his teeth, looking extra creepy, being spooky, being mean, and very pleased with himself. The knight practiced fighting a wooden dragon and ended up lancing a tree, and the dragon practiced setting a straw knight on fire, but only succeeded in setting a tree on fire. That poor tree. They're both giving it their best. They're practicing. That's what you do when you're trying to get good at something. But they're not very good at it yet. But they're getting better. The princess is up at the top of the castle, putting an eye on things. This time the knight is able to destruct the wooden dragon. The dragon is able to not only set fire to one straw man, but many straw men. Practices making everything get better and better. Finally, the knight and the dragon were both ready. They sent each other a letter and set a time for the fight. To Sir Knight from B. Dragon Esquire. To B. Dragon Esquire from Sir Knight. They both sent each other an invitation. Hey, let's get together. Not for a play date like you and I might do, but to fight. And they delivered their messages. The knight came to the cave. The dragon came out and, yeah, let's fight. They're getting pumped up. So here's how it goes. First, they're far away from each other. The dragon is making his faces. The knight is raising his lance into the air. They start charging at each other. They run straight past each other and skid. They're going to have to try a little bit better if they really want to be good dragon fighters and knight fighters. So don't give up. They're going to try again. The knight has his lance. The dragon has his flames. And they're running towards each other again. This is going to be it, right? The dragon ended up setting a tree on fire in a pond. And the knight has his weapons are broken and he's caught up in a tree. And the princess / librarian is alarmed. Oh no! And she stops because she's the princess and the librarian. And she gives the dragon a book called The Outdoor Cookbook. And she gives the knight a book called How to Build a Barbecue. And they both go straight to work reading their books. Should trust a princess. And the next day, we have K&D, Knight and Dragon Barbecue. The dragon is using his flames on the meat. The meat is on the weapons that they were going to use to hurt one another. They're cooking it over a shield. They're serving their food on shields. And now instead of fighting each other, they're getting along with each other. And everybody is so happy. The end. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the story of the Knight and the Dragon, please hit that thumbs up button at the bottom of the page. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. If you're not a subscriber yet, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of the page. And don't forget to click the bell so that you're notified when there's new content. And every Wednesday and Friday in the month of June, I will be presenting another story by one of my favorite authors and hopefully one of yours, Mr. Tomie DePaola. Please join me in the month of June for this author study. I hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.